Hi everybody, I'm Master Mouse. I live in your house. I'll never let you go.
All right, introduce the show, Max. Right.
Okay. Groover Ghost presents The Groover Show.
Thank you. All right, here we go. This is a groovy show. Tell everyone you know. I'm Groovy the Ghost, your groovy host. I'm spreading my love from coast to coast. No matter if you're young, no matter if you're old. Everybody got that soul. So let's get down and rock and roll. All right, here we are. End of the year. I don't know about you guys, but for me it's been a miraculous year. And just to be here with you right now is a miracle. All right. I'm going to get right to it tonight. Again, I wasn't planning on doing a show an hour ago or 40 minutes ago or whatever. And then my thoughts start flowing. And it's almost like there's something that I have to say. So here we go. On my last show, I said to you, if you are in need of healing, and I've been thinking about that ever since, because that's a bold statement for anyone to make, that I'm going to send healing. So I thought maybe I should explain to you what healing has come to me, to mean to me in my life, and kind of how I arrived at this. How I could get to that place where I could, that came out of nowhere. I've never said that before, and all these shows come out of nowhere, which if you look at it as now here, I'm just here in the now with you, and this stuff comes up. Me and Groovy. So I spoke to you in the last couple of shows, might even have been the last show, that I had been to primal therapy. And I was suicidal. And my mom, I was 21 years old, and I came home, and my mom paid for me to go to a primal therapy intensive, which was a 10-day, 5 days a week, 4 hours a day situation where I had to, part of the deal was I couldn't be home. I had to be by myself and not even speak to anybody when I wasn't with him. His name was Dan Miller. I would like to say that I feel like he's with me right now. Yo, Dan! Beautiful man. So, he had a loft in Soho. And the therapy took place. I was nude on mats, like in your gym in school. The floor in the therapeutic area was covered in mats. And it was a very physical, it was a psychophysical, the wildest thing that I ever really experienced. I got to do this thing. And I could do a whole show about that, but there's a point I have to get to, so I have to edit. So let's say I'm 3/4. This happened when I was 21, right? Let's say I was like 3/4 through, and he says to me, and I trust this guy at this point because he's opening me up I think the image that he used was an onion, peeling the layers of the onion. Um, and he goes, all right, I think you're ready for this. So, with your consent, what I'm going to do now is overpower you and choke you. And you're going to have to fight your way off of me. Yeah. And I was a skinny kid, and he was a big man, and he goes, I'm not gonna go easy on you. This is gonna be, for reals. And I go, all right, Dan, let's do it. And so he starts choking me, and at first I'm kind of like half-assed, wiggling, trying to get free or whatever. And suddenly I start losing air and I start panicking. And every time I tell this story lately, I have to put this in because it seemed to me that I screamed this out loud, and yet he was choking me, so how could I have? But I screamed, I'm an Indian. And I got this strength that came up, and kind of lickety split, I was free. I just did it. And that was the turning point in the therapy. So, to add to that, and I could talk about that for an hour, right? But to add to that, afterwards, we're sitting eye to eye on the mats. And I say to him, you're like a wizard. And and it was like in The Alchemist, when at the beginning of the story, when the guy sees the gold under the guy's coat or something, the radiant gold, his eye twinkled. And it was like this connection and this God wink. And he goes, well, I'd like to think that I'm a bit of a wizard, yeah. And I just want to relate that story, that when you hit like rock bottom, that's where you come up, and that it's the Indian, it's the archetypal Indian in me that I'm representing tonight. The archetypal Indian who called himself a healer on Facebook is speaking. Um, let's jump ahead now to where I'm like 40 something. And I'm involved in, right, 21, now 40 something. I'm involved in this spiritual center here in Sierra Vista. Young kids. And I'm kind of, let's say, new to the New Age thing, that I came more from a Eastern, uh, Zen or India type background. Um, so I'm involved with this spiritual center here. And so for the first time in my life, like, I'm listening to somebody like talking about shamanism. And I had heard the word that Jim Morrison had called himself a modern shaman. And from that I got that, from the hypnotic effects and the healing powers of music, that he could be a shaman. And I understood the concept of medicine man type thing, right? Got that. My experience was, I keep getting texted. That's all the beeps you're hearing. Que sera, sera. Uh, um, my experience was, and it's still vivid in my mind, and it informs my life to this day. I'm going through dark, it started out, go down, you're by a tree, and there's a hole, and go down the hole, and bam, what do you see? And I followed this path, like through like dark roots, to a cave. And I go into the cave, and over here, there's a group of people dancing around the fire. Classic scene, right? And the shadows are being thrown up on the walls of the cave. And over here, there's this old guy, dressed in skins. And I go over to him and sit down. Never says a word to me. And I don't say a word to him. He takes a stone bowl, crude stone bowl, filled with fluorescent, you could call it green slime, fluorescent green stuff, and rubs it on my face. And next thing I know, I'm outside the cave, and I'm running with a giant black panther, having a great time running with this giant black panther. Very playful feeling. And then it's over. We went up the rabbit hole. And I meditated on that for the rest of my life. It's been a thing, and I always felt like green is a healing color, and somehow that this guy is either an ancestor or or an aspect of me, a future me that I'm seeing the only way I can visualize. Then, in a meditation, not long after that, at the same place, the same woman, another guided meditation, uh, it was like going up a mountain of spirituality, how that related to you. It's in the song I'm going to play in a moment or two. The imagery that I got, you know, I walked up this kind of easy to walk path and met an angel, and she told me I was a healer, and she gave me a crystal cup, and I took a drink and I held it up, and there was all these colors and everything. And so I had these like vivid, deep experiences that resonated so strongly for me. I'm telling the story again, and I'm back there, and I'm so. You know, when I was with Star, we had a she would get upset when I wouldn't know something. And she'd say, "You should know," you know? And I'd say, "I'm a healer and I don't really know what that means." And she goes, "You should know what that means." And like, I'm a scientist, I'm okay with mysteries. I'm okay with the not knowing. And, so here's what I've come up with as far as like me and healing. Now, she had cancer, and there were times when she'd kind of get mad at me and say, "You're a healer, heal me," right? And I'd say, I'm not that kind of healer. I even tried. I mean, what the heck, right? Put my hands on her, prayed. Failure at healing her cancer. I've said many times, I get a headache, I take a Tylenol. I don't feel like some big healer, right? So I've been thinking about in a book of Abraham Hicks, right? There's this list of from the being the furthest from alignment to being in alignment, right? There's something like they've got it broken down to like 21, 24 different uh, emotions on the way. And she says, many times, you can't get from there, from here. You got to go through all the things to get there. So I feel like I'm that kind of healer, that if I could share my love and my joy, and I have gotten comments like, you're the bright spot, you're a bright spot in a dark world. If I could be that, if I could do that, I am so fulfilled, One of the things that helps me to trust myself, because I don't want to, I'm aware that I could fool myself, I could actually fool myself. So if I can raise a vibration a little bit, I'm I am I live on my Social Security check, right? My needs are basically met, uh, and like a lot of people my age, let's say, I don't have to do anything. There's nothing that I really have to do, right? So I'm proud to say that I do my show because I love it. There's no money involved. I'm not selling anything, right? I'm not asking for donations. I'm not that kind of healer. But they say that, laughter is the best medicine. If I could make you laugh, if I could entertain you with my musical abilities, or, if I could bring lightness into your day and share my joy while I'm doing it, that's the kind of healing I have. My eyes are show business aspect of being a healer. Statistically, I would say there's a high statistic of healers with eyes on their palms. More than the general public, anyway. Of which I'm proud to say I am one, also. Let's see. Now I'm going to sing you that song. I'm going to sing you that. I didn't even light the sage. What is this world coming to? He doesn't even light the sage anymore. All right. I love my life, I love my show, and I love you. Yes, I do. Let me sing this for you. Eagles circling overhead, red-winged blackbird on my shoulder, painters drinking at the river, rainbow in the waterfall, Cocapelli on the canyon wall. His flute echoes forever in my personal dream, with my guides awakening inside, from a caterpillar to a butterfly inside, walking up a mountain path whispers you're a healer. She gives me a crystal cup. I take a drink and hold it up. The day explodes in colors. In my personal dream, with my guides awakening inside, from a caterpillar to a butterfly inside. Here's my guides: Muddy Waters, Jimi Hendrix, Jerry Garcia, Muktananda, Mom, Dad, Rose DeWitt, and Jesus. I can't describe this place. It feels like forever after. I hear music and sounds of laughter. That's my personal dream. With my guides awakening. Happy New Year inside. From a caterpillar to a butterfly. Max, what do you think? Gonna be a good year?
I'm looking forward to a real good year. I like being the co-host of your show. I always wanted to do that.
You're the best, Max. I love you. Take it out, all right?
From Max to Mouse, that's me. To Groove the Ghost, that's him. Happy New Year, everybody. We love you.
He's ringing the bell. He's ringing it in. Good job, Max.
Thought of that myself.
Good job. Look at this. He's thinking for himself.